county line, we check in with a local fishing spot that they restock for fall.
And our On the Road team visits a local castle where the apple is king. It's the Apple Castle, and the fall harvest season is a big time of year for them.
If you have a sweet tooth, Halloween isn't far away, but to hold you over, we take you to a local candy store.
Plus, Justin Egley has a reality show football star in Titantown Sports. We're live.
We're local.
The County Line starts now.
High natural gas prices are expected this winter, which means some people may cuddle in front of the fireplace instead of relying on their furnace. Tonight we'll tell you how to keep your chimney in tip-top shape. Good evening, I'm Shannon McLean.
And I'm Mike Walensky. Now, if you'd rather be fishing, you're not alone. It's always a popular activity this time of year in Pennsylvania, and many lakes, rivers, and streams are stocked with fish. So tonight we talked to a few local fishermen about the season.
So what they did now is what they call float stock. You know, what they do is they'll float it all the way down to the bridge, and they'll, disperse the fish that way. But a lot of times they just dump what they call dump stock, and they just, by the buckets, and that's what they did in this section here. Then they'll float down to the river. All they're going to do from here all the way down to from the falls all the way down to the covered bridge. And I think they have a total of 800 they're stocking here. So, but yeah, it's a good process. I mean, it's nice to be able to come out here this time of year and do a little bit of trout fishing. So.
And I was fishing this morning, which was not too good. And I'm hoping tomorrow will be better. I'll have to fish.
That's the only way we're going to have any good fishing in Pennsylvania is for the stocking program, which is real good and gets a little expensive, but I mean that's what you have to have, and we're willing to pay for it. So our license fee takes care of that. I'm from St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. I come down here quite a bit to fish this stream in the Shenango River. My sister-in-law lives up in Sharon, so we get down here quite a bit visiting. The women can do the shopping, and I can do some fishing.
If you had a favorite candy growing up as a child, but you can't find it anymore, then reporter Amanda Hogger has just the place for you.
You may have walked through the streets of Volant many times, but you could have missed the sweet treasure called the Bulk Food and Candy Company. Shop owner Becky Galliano has called Volant home for the past 3 years, and she tells us how she got involved in this business.
Actually, the reason I basically opened my husband, and I used to get so excited when I go to like these different little out-of-the-way country stores and find like all the old-fashioned candies, things I grew up with. See too often, and I get so excited when I see stuff, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I could find this now. And so when I decided to open this store, what I kind of did is I did, the bulk foods and the different snack mixes, which go good in a tourist area. Plus, I also incorporated all the old-fashioned candies from like 50s and 60s and 70s. So, but I think it's something that just kind of excited me because you don't see things that often, like the older candies, and it was just something that I really kind of had a feeling to want to do. So.
Galliano's shop has everything from old-fashioned candy, satellite wafers, and chocolate-covered raisins to cake mixes and flour, even salad dressings, and that's right, decorative hot sauces. While Galliano depends on locals for most of her business, she can count on customers from all over the world.
We have a lot of people they come from worldwide. I've had people from Africa and Australia, and a lot of people from like England come over.
The Bulk Food and Candy Company has what every sweet tooth lover is looking for. And a great fact for students, you get 10% off with your student ID. Reporting from Volant, I'm Amanda Hogger for the County Line.
With Halloween fast approaching, two things are probably on everyone's mind: candy and spooks. Now, you just saw a whole store full of candy, so now the County Line tags along with a very up-close and personal account of the Westminster Mummy.
The folklore for all of these years was that the mummy had been decapitated, and that from time to time the mummy's head showed up in the bed of some co-ed in one of the dormitories on campus. But the x-rays and the CAT scans indicate that it was never severed. The CAT scans are available back there. There are a dozen or so CAT scans. Very interesting CAT scans. Everything from working down through the skeleton, from the head to the ankles, and you can see it going out over the head and over the ears and like that. And there's one going right down the esophagus. Very interesting. The mummy has not come up missing. However, I know for a fact that around 1990, there were a group of high school students who were plotting to steal the mummy. Now, somehow they ran afoul and it did not occur. Now, I suspect that that was not the only occasion, but I know for a fact that that plot was there.
If the mummy wasn't scary enough for you, our On the Road team has an idea. Cheeseman's Fright Farm in Lawrence County is a local hayride and haunted house tradition. Join Luke and Stevie for this behind-the-scenes look at how they scare people.
I'm Luke.
And I'm
We're on the road.
I don't stand a chance.
This week on the road, we're at Cheeseman's Fright Farm, where we get a behind-the-scenes look at what goes on.
We got to see all 50 haunters and what they do before the first hayride even begins.
Right now we're standing inside our costume trailer at the haunted house. This is where we keep all of our equipment. The kids are outside getting into their costumes as we speak, getting ready for the first hayride.
We start out with this. They're latex appliques. You put them on the spirit gum, put a little liquid latex around them to try and disguise the edges, and then you put makeup on from there and make it look pretty disgusting. You can do burns. There's gelatin mix to make burns, to make it look really like weepy and seeping. 18 years as a medic, I have a pretty good idea what they look like. So. Big red light.
Yeah, I'm in the house. I'm in the butcher's bed. I get butchered all night. Well, I'm all bundled up.
And I'm ready as I'll ever be. Let's go see how our haunters look.
Kind of talk about their experience, and we like to get a feedback that way, you know, without getting right in their faces. You know, we listen and hear what they have to say, and for the last few years we've had a lot of good comments.
Well, getting a behind-the-scenes tour, unfortunately, didn't make it any easier to walk through.
And you only have till October 30th to come check it out.
Well, that's it for this week's On the Road.
We'll see you next time.
Well, Shannon, that looks pretty scary down there.
Pretty scary.
Definitely, it looks like
you
a
won't
good...
see me
me
going down there.
You don't like the Halloween
No way.
haunted houses?
No.
You're a fan of that? All right. Well, anyway.
It's been a busy week for Titan Radio News.
That's right. Bill Sadler has this week's top stories on 89 on the county line.
Titan Radio Digital 88.9 News brings you local news.
Good evening, I'm Bill
now.
Sadler with this week's top stories from Titan Radio News on 89 FM. Grove City High School was evacuated Tuesday due to the second bomb threat in a week. Students were taken to 3 separate locations before they were allowed to contact parents and go home. The Grove City Police searched the school for several hours with trained dogs and failed to find a bomb. State game officials say 2 young men were illegally hunting for wild turkey out of season when the 17-year-old was accidentally shot in the neck. Game Commission Officer Jim Eagley says the 19-year-old could face charges whether or not the shooting was an accident. State Representative Frank LaGrada announced Wednesday that 2 Lawrence County businesses received grants through the state's Small Business Advantage Grant Program. The grants make it possible for owners to buy new equipment to increase profits while lowering energy and preventing pollution. Police are still investigating the reports of a man exposing himself to women walking in and around New Wilmington. Police officer Donald Bollinger says the investigation cannot continue without information from the victims. The subject is said to be a scruffy-looking 40-year-old male driving a small gray or green pickup truck. That was your 89 on the County Line. To keep up to date every day, tune into Titan Radio for more continuous coverage. Now back to more County Line.
While Westminster students head home this weekend for fall break, Westminster College Celebrity Series is busy with a show that's not typical for them. Tomorrow night, Ricky Skaggs takes the stage with his band Kentucky Thunder in Orr Auditorium. Skaggs has become a legend in the last 20 years for his mix of bluegrass and gospel. He's also the winner of a 2005 Grammy for the Best Bluegrass Album.
At Newcastle High School, uniforms are still the topic of conversation. But according to security guard Daryl Holmes, there has been less violence since the induction of uniforms at the high school. Holmes also says everyone looks better in the uniforms, and it takes students less time to get ready for school in the morning.
Well, October is Fire Safety Month, and this month is when many people start using their fireplaces at home as the weather turns cold.
It's important to make sure you're safe when lighting a fire in your living room. In tonight's County Close-Up, Kirsten Gaitis talks to a local chimney sweep.
All right, but first, Amy Sassfi has this week's County Comments.
This week, I hit the streets of New Wilmington asking local residents, how well prepared are you in the event of a fire?
Well, I think because my husband was with the fire company for so many years that we just didn't have any choice but to be ready.
It's all equipped with all kind of fire protection, and there's fire alarms all through the house. And,
oh yeah, I think that's a plus. You know, even the Amish are allowed to have them now. Did you know that?
Not very prepared. I just know the basics of get out of the place. My apartment's right here, and like I said, the only fire safety that I know is if you see one, either put it out or run. So.
That's it for this week's edition of County Comments. Back to you in the studio, Kirsten.
Thank you, Amy. With winter just around the corner and gas prices up, heating your home this winter could become very expensive. Tonight, here with me is Chimney Sweep David Spielvogel to help explain to you how you can save money this winter. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Now, what exactly is a chimney sweep?
Chimney sweep is somebody who comes into your home and inspects your chimney to make sure it's safe to use for the winter so that you don't have any carbon monoxide fumes that come back into the house or any dangers of fire from creosote buildup.
And this is what you do, right?
Yeah. We go in and inspect it. If they need cleaned, we clean them out and make sure they're safe for you to burn.
Now, if I understand right, you just made a little transition in your job, right?
Yes, I did.
What happened?
I actually just quit my job this week. I gave them my notice. The chimney sweeping industry has become so busy with the rising gas prices that after 20 years of me doing it part-time, I finally decided to go full-time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly do you do as a chimney sweep?
First off, we inspect the chimney first to make sure there's no openings where fire could get into any framing on your house and ignite the framing and cause a devastating fire. And we also look for debris buildup inside your chimney, which could be caused by raccoons, birds, fallen mortar joints, fallen bricks, just so the chimney exhausts all the fumes safely.
Now, what's that green stuff that you sometimes find?
Creosote. That comes out of the logs when you burn them.
Is that something to worry about?
Yeah, most certainly. And that stuff builds up inside your chimney. It's caused from sometimes people burning green wood that's not been dried properly for an entire season, or barometric pressure has a lot to do with it. If it's a cloudy day, sometimes people call me, they smell smell in their house. That's actually from the barometric pressure pushing inside your chimney there. So
now, do you expect more customers because of the gas prices?
Oh, most certainly. My phone has definitely been ringing off the wall. A lot of people are wanting to use them old fireplaces they haven't used for years, and
how much does a chimney sweep generally cost?
It ranges anywhere from $95 to $150. That most sweeps charge that.
What is the most bizarre thing you found?
In a chimney, I got up into the smoke chamber one time, and I think the most bizarre thing I found, it was filled with marbles back behind the walls. There was just thousands of them, yeah.
From what?
Somebody just hiding them back here. I find guns, toys, money, all kinds of stuff.
In the chimney?
Yeah, they hide them up in the smoke shelter.
Nothing like burning that, right? What piece of advice could you give to everyone for this winter in their chimneys?
Just make sure you have a professional chimney sweep. Check your chimney before the burning season comes on. It's very important. And that's just not for fireplace owners or wood stove owners, but also gas appliances like your gas furnace and oil furnace.
So if I have a gas furnace at home, I should still get that all checked out?
Most definitely. That if that chimney's plugged, it can let carbon monoxide in your house, which is a silent killer. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it, and people don't realize they're getting poisoned. It's the #1 poison in America, actually.
Well, thank you very
You're
much
very welcome.
for your time.
You're very welcome.
If you're looking for a chimney sweep, you can contact Dave Spielvogel and Sons Chimney Sweeping and Repairs. The number is 724-752-1325, or you can just look it up in the Yellow Pages. That's it for me. Moore County Line on the way.
Okay, girls at 3 o'clock.
What is he looking at?
Oh, dude, it's so obvious. Captain Obvious has scored again. Open your window, say something.
Oh, he's really gonna down.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Thank you. Honey, finish up. Come on, we gotta go. Ew. What's wrong?
Something's on my glass.
Let me see. Oh, it's lipstick. Excuse me, ma'am. Could we just have a new glass, please? This one's dirty. Thank you.
Mom.
Honey, I don't want you to get sick. I don't know what's on that glass.
Oh, have me one too.
Oh, you want a soap to be in?
Yeah.
There you go. There's some honey right here, too.
Picture yourself at Westminster College. Westminster offers an educational experience that is second to none. We've been exceeding students' expectations for 150 years. Westminster combines the prestige of a national liberal arts college with the personal attention you deserve. Westminster is a national leader in graduation rate performance and is the most affordable national liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. Visit Westminster's beautiful 300-acre campus to experience an ideal learning environment. Succeed at Westminster College.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Titantown Sports. I'm Justin Agley. Thanks for tuning in as we have a big sports show for you tonight, and it's going to start off even bigger. We have the greatest NFL linebacker of all time in our first package tonight. He just happened to be in town filming a certain show called Bound for Glory, the reality TV show, and Jason Mackey got a little interview with him, so let's take a look at that now.
Well, when the idea came up for a reality show and, basically going to a high school that maybe had a great tradition and then maybe kind of slipped a little bit, the producers and some production companies thought it'd be a great idea to, bring in a new coach and, just do whatever you can to make this team improve. And so ESPN thought it would be a good idea, so they called me and they probably interviewed a lot of people, and I thought, well, I love football, and I like to just work with the kids a little bit, so that's how we ended up here. Well, I made a comment in the first show, I was kind of like ragging on, oh, you guys, if you're representing Western PA, well, I don't think it's so hot, but that was just a motivational thing. No, what I like about it is, the crowds that come out, and, it kind of reminds me when I was back in Chicago high school football used to be that way, but it's not now. But you still have, the tradition of having good football players come out of here, and yeah, it's been fun though, yeah. I think the kids handled that after the first week. I mean, with the cameras and everything else, it didn't bother them after the first week. It seems like it affects everybody else more than it does us. But, it's really worked out well for them. And even though our record doesn't show it, they've vastly improved, at least since I got here. I mean, from the first day of practice till now, they've really improved. And like I told them, no one's going to know that.
but only you guys, you know. So, you know, it doesn't mean we're going to fold our tent. We got to finish out the season, 3 more games, and see if we can at least come away with a couple wins here. But deep down, you guys really have gotten better. So hopefully it's a good foundation for them next year.
And thanks again for Jason Mackey for getting that interview. And actually, Dick Butkus is done with the TV show. There was 2 more games left, but his contract expired. So if you want to see that last game against Newcastle, it's actually on a 4-week delay on ESPN. And so that will wrap up the first part of the show. Now we'll go moving on. Back by popular demand, it's the greatest sports reporter that looks best in a Speedo out of all of us is DJ Yoakley with the swim package again. So let's take a look at that.
And I still don't know how to swim. But that's all going to change today, folks, because Pack swimmers Kevin Gasation and Lee Knight are going to teach yours truly how to swim properly and maybe even get a Speedo on.
Here's Lee Knight. Has he ever taught a guy my age to swim?
No, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. It should be an interesting change.
Exercise is a necessity before jumping in the pool. It's game time. Lesson 1, freestyle.
Kicking your feet like this. So I'll show you how that looks.
Lesson 2, backstroke. Lesson 3, diving. Well, sorta.
Well, after all that, after the lessons, what'd you learn today?
Well, I definitely learned that swimming isn't my thing. I'll stick to baseball and reporting. And these Speedos, they're not meant for kids like me. For the county line, I'm DJ Yoakley.
No matter how many times I see that, I still crack up. Thanks again, DJ, for giving a little laugh to all of us. As we go to more of a serious note on the show now, we have a new segment on the show that I'm calling the Justin Egley's Best Eggs of the Week. We don't have any highlights, so this is going to have to go up for him. Let's take a look at that now.
Under a minute to play. Uh-oh, onside kick. The Titans try to answer. Lundmark tries to get it. Does he have it?
Yes, he does.
And the Titans get a big turnover. The kicker gets it back.
Again, that's a great yard line. Titans an unbalanced line that time.
Uh-oh, we saw this a couple times. Sean Buggy with the pass. Touchdown, Titans.
That's the kind of play.
Slot receiver as well. E.J. Adams, pressure on him. He's going to be sacked. He's loose. And it's picked up, and it's going to be a run into the end zone. Carrying the ball into the end zone, Danny Argero. And Lamar Johnson's going to pick it up at the 10. And he gives it to Wetzel. Wetzel has some running room outside, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's still on his feet, cuts inside of the 45, 50. Unless he's going to get caught from behind, this is going to be a touchdown. Wetzel returns it for the touchdown. The Canes lead 13-3.
Oh, Dr. B, I'm glad I shut my mouth. Lamar Johnson.
at the 43 of the Canes. It's 3-0 right now. Montour with the lead in the first period. Wow, what a great kick. Way over the coverage. It gets a good roll. What a fantastic kick by Colella. Still rolling. And it's going to finally roll down inside the 15-yard line to the 14-yard line. Can you believe it? From the
Buggy will field this one about a yard deep in his own end zone. Has a hole, though, has a couple blocks. Buggy up over the 40, to the 50, to the opposing 40. Could he go? Sean Buggy with a 100-yard touchdown return, and how about that for a big...
And that has been Justin Egley's Best Eggs of the Week. I hope you enjoyed them, as that'll be a new segment on each show. We had a little half dozen there. Maybe we'll have a little more next time for you. And I got to give a special thanks. That was Jason Mackey and Dr. David Barner as the announcers there for those two games. And unfortunately, Westminster couldn't pull off a win, but they get another chance up at Bethany next week, or this Saturday. The game will be at 1 o'clock. Listen to it on Titan Radio 88.9 FM. And now in here in the booth with me is a special player from the Westminster soccer team. This is Garrett Horvath. Garrett is not playing this year because of an injury last year. He's redshirting, but he's still a major part of the team. And last year, you guys, the soccer team, broke records going deep into the playoffs. And this year, you're doing it in a different way. Could you explain to the viewers how you guys are doing it different this way?
Yes, last year we went to the NCAA second round of the playoffs, lost to Messiah. And this year we've been kind of having a rough season, so I thought maybe we could generate a spark if we try to break the single game attendance record.
Okay. And how many people did you end up having for the game?
The final number was 222 people.
222, that's pretty impressive. Now, did that help spark anything on your team at all for the win?
It helped spark a little bit, but it didn't go as far as we wanted to because we couldn't pull out a win yesterday. We had an upset loss, 1-0 to the Yellow Jackets.
Okay, and did you guys do anything special at all for this at all? Anything?
Yes, to promote it, we had flyers, and we had an article in the Whole-Cad, and we even gave people some hot dogs at the game, free hot dogs.
Well, thanks a lot for being on the show, and hopefully we'll see you next year. That'll wrap up this week's edition of Titantown Sports. Please stay tuned as more County Line is on the way.
There's a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
The Lawrence County Humane Society believes in the safety of spaying and neutering your animals. Spaying and neutering can have many long-term benefits.
We at the Lawrence County Humane Society believe that all animals should be spayed or neutered. Many reasons why, but the biggest reason is that they will be a happier, healthier pet. Also, it alleviates the overpopulation problem.
Getting your animals spayed and neutered is one huge step in making sure that more animals are healthy and find loving homes.
I'm the best thing you ever had. Only thing I'm guilty of is giving you too much love, making you crazy, making you rap, making me follow me, making me suspect. Seem to think I'm playing her game. Don't you know her? This is me.
There's a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
Well, that does it for this week's edition of The County Line.
Join us next week for all your local news from Lawrence and Mercer counties.
Plus, Justin Egley will have all of your local sports highlights in Titantown Sports.
And our on-the-road team will celebrate October at the Apple Castle. I'm Shannon McLean.
And I'm Mike Walensky. Have a good night.